Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nameless Show that does not have a name, but it does. It's the Nameless Show. It's a terrible name. Anyway, the confirmation hearings for Brett Kavanaugh have started. You know Brett Kavanaugh as Trump's nominee to replace Anthony Kennedy on the Supreme Court, and also the guy who looks like a combed ferret all the time. He's also the guy who had his first date with his wife the day before 9/11, which you would think is a bad omen for dating someone, but apparently not. I don't know. Democrats were complaining about the limited access to documents from his tenure as someone as part of the Bush administration. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but the waiting list to find out anything about the Bush administration is like 9 years long. There's so much craziness that happened and so little in George W. Bush's brain. It's a real struggle. However, the committee chairman, Iowa Senator Charles E. Grassley, which is a very Iowa name, refused to postpone the hearing and continued on schedule, which is the first time someone from Iowa has actually cared about being on time for something. I mean, have you seen that state? Iowa is so behind on schedule, they're stuck in the 1950s, which I'm surprised Mike Pence hasn't moved his entire family there and his mother because he would love that place. Anyway, Democrats are also saying that Trump picked Kavanaugh in hopes to stop the Russia investigation from happening. Wow, it's almost like Trump openly told Russia to steal DNC documents to help him win. Oh well, none of this actually matters because one of Kavanaugh's staffers may have shown a white supremacist symbol with her hand during the hearing. Wow, a Trump affiliate being a white supremacist. Man, this is a weirdly sarcastic monologue, but no, it actually wasn't a white supremacist monologue. I mean, if Trump supporters are too dumb to draw a swastika correctly, how can they master a hand symbol? News outlets are saying that it was actually like the OK symbol, but we all know that she actually just got him, that thing, you know. So now she can hit you. She can hit anyone who saw that on the back of their neck because memes. Anyway, Brett Kavanaugh also refused to shake the hand of a parent of a victim of the Parkland shooting. This this actually got him a feature article in Terrible People Weekly, a magazine founded by those clowns in 2016 who were just murdering everyone, but are still somehow better than everyone else in the Trump administration. Um, but seriously, Brett, how can you care so much about fetuses but not even have the decency to shake a father whose child was murdered because of how easy it is to have access to a gun in America? What's the point of making people give birth to babies that they can't handle taking care of if you're just going to let them be shot in school because Americans have the right to buy enough guns to fund a small country's military or whatever nonsense you're spewing? Anyway, Massachusetts exists. In Massachusetts, voters kicked the incumbent Democrat out in a primary. Ayanna Pressley is now poised to be the first black person to represent Massachusetts in the House. People are saying that this is kind of similar to the primary election for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So does that mean Republicans will also say that Ayanna Pressley has no qualifications and not realizing the irony that they voted for Donald Trump? I feel like when a populist Democrat is elected, Republicans complain that, oh, they have no experience and they'll ruin America or whatever. But when they elect like a literal dumpster fire of a human, they say, he's fixing America because the politicians just don't understand, which is like weirdly close to a Will Smith lyric. Remember, you know Will Smith, he used to rap for some reason. However, he's running in Massachusetts, so it's kind of more that they just like changing everything all the time, except, this is a fun fact, they, for like 300 years, they've had the world's best universities in one of the stupidest cities in America. Loki, Boston is just like an older version of Tucson with a coast. Presley is running unopposed because it's Massachusetts and it's like a painfully liberal place. However, Russia will somehow find a way to rig the election against her. Well, actually not, because there's no other candidate to tell Russia to hack the DNC for them and not get in trouble when they get elected. But Presley's life story is insane. She had to deal with her father being incarcerated and being a survivor of assault. In fact, she even said in her stump speech that the people closest to pain should be the closest to the power. I guess Trump took that in a different direction because he decided, since that he never really experienced any pain, that he would actually be the cause of pain, because he hadn't experienced any real pain in life unless you count his ankle spur that he doesn't remember having. Kaepernick and Nike have signed a deal to make him the face of their Just Do It campaign. Lots of people people are angry at the afro. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. They're actually angry because Kaepernick kneeled during that national anthem because of the way America treats black people. In fact, people are so mad that they're burning their Nike shoes. You know, the ones that they already bought. Not only does this have absolutely no effect on anything, now they have no shoes. So they're literally only hurting themselves. Meaning they're either idiots or they're into that kind of stuff. Has no brain or 50 Shades of Grey. You'll never know. Yes, you will. They're all idiots. Fun fact. They actually only started playing the national anthem at sports games because it boosted morale of the crowd during the 7th inning at baseball games. Baseball, it's so boring that you have to boost the morale of the crowd like they're a Vietnam War army and they're sprayed by their own Agent Orange. Except the baseball crowd paid for it. Also, the national anthem was just there to boost morale. So doesn't that mean that if we can't kneel for it, we can't sit down with an extra large soda and 3 hot dogs during the Sweet Caroline in the middle of the 7th inning or whatever? I'm sorry. But if we can't slowly kill ourselves with mystery meat tubes while a drunk couple gets frisky next to us, are we even America? Finally, Amazon has hit $1 trillion in worth because Amazon became the second company ever to do this after Apple last month, which officially means, this is a fun fact, Jeff Bezos can actually hunt humans and nothing will happen to him. Honestly, the world's most dangerous game is getting that weird Amazon key thing that lets Amazon delivery people into your house. But really, Amazon has revolutionized the way that people get things. Amazon has put so many small businesses out of business that you can actually order one for a free 2-day delivery if you have Amazon Prime. This is The Nameless Show. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. We haven't moved, but I probably put something in post to make it look like less weird of a transition than just we paused and then we started talking again. Anyway, we have a new sidekick on the show. It's a landline that no one has ever used, and when they answer it, they repeat everything that's being said so the audience can understand it in a way that no one would ever say in every scenario ever. You know what? Let me show you. What? This is not a good bit? And you're selling old Dr. Pagers to vintage electronic dealers? What do you mean I think this is a bad idea? What? I definitely don't regret this. Anyway, weird local news. This is the segment we have on the show. More than 100 goats ran through Boise, Idaho. They apparently, these 118 goats broke through a fence near a local retention pond, and they just fled the city, which, I mean, if that is not the most Idahoan thing I've ever seen, then I don't know what is. I feel like Idaho is the only city where, like, if you just wake up and then you look at your house and you see like 700 goats just like chilling in your front yard, and you're like, oh well, man, it's I knew it was gonna happen one day. No, it's just not. That's not a thing that's supposed to happen. Why are there even goats like that close to the city? What kind of city is this? You know what? Idaho is just not a real city. Because there's literally a place in Idaho where you can kill someone and get away with it. It's where, you know how Yellowstone goes across multiple borders because old-timey things are complicated? There's one section that's in Idaho, and because if you commit murder there, there's no people in that district to form a jury, so you legally can't go to trial, and so you can literally get away with murder. Anyway. That should be like the Fargo sequel. Just murder in Yellowstone. 700 goats roam around. What do you mean you ate all the goats? Anyway, that's pretty much it. But I think, you know what? I don't trust goats, and that's the segue into this next segment. Things I don't trust. The suburbs. The suburbs are bad for the environment. They're just bad all around. No one has ever said, hey, you know what? The city is so lame. Let's go to Los Gatos. That's a cool place. But the suburbs are actually really bad for the environment. If you look at a city like Phoenix, is way worse environment than a city like Barcelona or something. And it's not just because Spanish people are cool and have good food or whatever. And it's Phoenix is Phoenix. Also, the way suburbs were created in the 40s was that they used a practice called redlining, where they would cut basically neighborhoods in half based on race. in income, and they would say some neighborhoods are red, which are bad, and some are green, which is good. Made it a lot harder for people in red neighborhoods to get loans or or get leases on a house or move to the suburbs. So that left an institutionalized demographic of minorities stuck in the city, while rich white people were like, "I'm in the suburbs. I'm isolated. This is fun. I got a terrible lawn." That's pretty much it. And another thing, studies show that going from the suburbs to the city every day to work is actually really bad for you because you're so isolated. You're stuck in this car for like an hour, and I don't think people are taking the subway from like a cul-de-sac to like New York. That's not. I don't think that's how it works. But hopefully, that'd be a weird city plan. Just like New York, a suburb, all of a sudden one subway stop just like in the middle of nowhere. That'd be cool though. Like you could like go from like a farm to the city. That's what they do in like Europe. You can literally take the public transportation from your farm in the outskirts of the city into the center. And that's cool. But I feel like America has this weird obsession with making everything way worse and complicated while acting like we're the greatest country in the world. Like, we just, as I mentioned earlier, we get drunk on beer and then shove like giant mystery meat tubes in our mouth while a couple gets frisky next to us. And that's the American spirit. Everything is terrible, and that's what makes it great. But why can't we just have cars and then also make the suburbs like easier to access and make it less isolating? There's a way we can develop cities better than just having a city all of a sudden miles of sad, boring suburbia. Anyway, this is Nameless Show. We're back 2 weeks from now. See you guys.